Boom. I think it's working. We're going to give it a few moments here to make sure that we are operational. Greetings, everyone. Hopefully this thing is going to work. Give me a series. Give me a random series of emojis and numbers in the chat. Put the last 4 digits of your social security number and your mother's maiden name in the chat, and we'll see if this thing works. I'm just kidding. Don't put that info in. There we go. We got White Swan. How's it going? Come on in, everybody. We don't know what is going to happen for this live stream. There we go. Greetings. What's up, Japoris? How's it going? If you can, if this signal is holding, and I do not know if it will, because who knows how the Wi-Fi is here. It has been infamous already. But if you can, please share this video on social media if that is possible. We don't know if anyone's going to turn up for this. We've got no idea what to expect. And so come on in the room. Hopefully the audio is okay. You guys are probably going to hear a lot of noise and stuff around me. I'm going to go check the Facebook screen. And so while you're kind of filing in, everybody, if you can help us tremendously by sharing this video, whether it's on social media, any social media. If you have an old dot matrix printer in some back room, plug that shit in and print out like a really horrible printout of this live stream, like just screenshot this screen, print it out and staple it to a telephone pole. Staple it to a telephone pole in your neighborhood. And yeah, come on in. Okay, here we go. I'm going to check the Facebook screen. By the way, for those of you guys that can still see me, oh, there it is. Facebook allowed us on, everyone. So this is a major day. Boom, there we go. Facebook just went live as well. Anyway, come on in. As everyone knows, if you're tuning in here, you might have already heard we are currently at the Los Angeles Conscious Life Expo, out here in the wilds of LA. It is the first time that we have returned to Los Angeles since moving from LA. I want to say it was August, maybe September of, I want to say 2021. Although for those of you guys that know me, you know my concept of time is horrible. And so who knows, it could have been 2020. Although I'm pretty sure it was 2021. So this is the first time we have been back in Los Angeles. And to be honest with you, the journey was very, very smooth. I am one of those people who sort of expects kind of airport disasters, or I sort of walk into that environment, which I know is not always the best thing to do, kind of like your mindset or what you're expecting is going to have a big effect on, how it plays out. And I certainly will admit, I'm one of those people that goes into the sort of traveling experience with tremendous trepidation, with, a lot of tension. And I have to say, this time around, remarkably smooth. And so anyway, the journey was really, really chill. And I see everyone coming in. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a view here. We're gonna scan to the side because I want you to see who's next to us over here. Some of you guys are familiar with Ismael Perez. He is in the booth next to us. Everybody loves Ismael, and so maybe we'll be hanging out with him later. And then on our other side over here, get ready. Here we go. On the other side, we have somebody with a really, really cool booth setup. I don't know what they're doing, but they are really awesome. Anyway, come on in. Good to see you. For the real empaths out there, some of you guys are going to pick up on like the energy here and the energy in the space, and I will comment on that briefly because it's really, really intense. What's up, Trevor? Good to see you. What's up, Stephanie Milligan? How's it going? Thank you for rolling through. We got Joanna LeBlanc in the house. What's up? Nanzi as well. How's it going? It's really, really good to see you guys. And so, yeah, there's a really wild and highly varied and just very, very interesting cast of characters already here on site. And so what we're going to be doing here today for just a little while is I think we're going to do a few readings just for people that are in the chat, for anyone that's here, just to kind of get a little bit warmed up for what we're going to be doing this weekend. With hopefully, some of the people that are going to be coming by. And for those of you guys that are going to be coming down here to Conscious Life Expo, I know I've been posting this over and over and over again, but I'm going to be doing a talk at 2 o'clock tomorrow, Saturday. I believe it's Saturday, February 11th, at 2 p.m. in Century D. So if you happen to be in Los Angeles, come and check us out. Boom. Yeah, totally. What's up? What's up, Wes? Well, I think I'm gonna do a separate live stream later on and do like a we're gonna talk about all the really really weird, wild, and I will say it. Yes, very very parasitic energy that we've already witnessed here. And I guess that said, as everyone's kind of rolling in, what's up, Michelle? How's it going? Good to see you. My computer screen's already glitching out, so somebody let me know as soon as our signal starts to die. Let me know. Anne Marie has a good question, dude. What is up with my energy today? I definitely feel you on that. I have to say, in coming back to Los Angeles, I think both Honora and I were expecting it to be a much, we could say, sharper, a much more difficult, maybe we could call it a much more angular energy signature. But I have to say, it actually has been really chill in terms of the environmental energy, in terms of what I think a lot of people call, for those of us that aren't from Los Angeles, a lot of people come here and they talk about how there's a very harsh frequency of energy, and the mindset of people, is difficult. I have to say, I definitely don't see that. People have been chill. It's been really smooth. You can definitely tell some of that sort of survival consciousness frequency that you'll see in people in major cities that you don't necessarily see in some of the other places in the US, but it's definitely very, very interesting. And so we're going to be doing a no holds barred. I'm going to tell you all the wild, juicy, dirty stuff that we've discovered in another live stream. But for now, we're going to do a couple readings. Thanks, Wyatt Swan. The stream's holding well on your side. I can tell you that on our side, we're getting lots and lots of glitches. And so, anyway, let's pull some cards. What's up, Aurora Diamond Heart? How's it going? You guys are also going to be helping me ground my energy for this crazy, crazy experience here. What's up, Joanna? She says, I'm from LA. It certainly is a mixed bag. I have never been an LA hater. I have never been a person that's, does not enjoy Los Angeles. I've never been a person that, was desperate to get out. Definitely observed a lot of the insanity that's here, but I would absolutely return. If the politics of Los Angeles change, we will definitely come back. Anyway, that said, let's go ahead and start out with the reading. Hi. Okay. Sure, yeah.
I'm in the booth next to you.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, cool. When we're doing readings, it might not be a good idea to do it, but like if you want to do it now, absolutely.
I'm just doing it now. But I just want to turn on.
Okay. So we have some booth visitors. Cool. Very good. Also, you guys can request from the hotel. They will give you a power strip for your own table. Yeah, they're entirely full with people. Yeah, it's a shame.
What would I do?
You ask the hotel, and they'll charge you $75 to give you a plug-in. I know, right? It's unfortunate. Ours is totally full. Otherwise, I'd let you guys plug in over here. I really apologize. Anyway, thanks everybody. We're doing a brief little moment here. And the fun thing is, you guys get to see it like live and in the moment on the fly. Everybody's looking for power. That's kind of one of the things right now. You'll see a lot of people walking around trying to plug their phone in places, and unfortunately, there's literally none. So it's kind of where we're at. Anyway, yes. White Swan, you totally picked up that energy. Anyway, all right. Yeah. Here we go. We're gonna do a collective reading for everybody that's here. For those of you guys in the chat, let's take a deep breath in. Take a really big one. We're gonna do 3 breaths. We're gonna do 3 really, really big ones. Here comes number 1. Everyone together. Just hold it at the top and just let it roll all the way down. Good job. Now we're gonna do number 2. This one is for you guys specifically, for everyone that's home. Because I think it was Anne Marie was talking about the energy, maybe Miss White Swan as well. So breath number 2 is for our collective. And so let's take that breath in. Here we go. Really big, and let it go all the way down. Very good. Okay, breath number 3. Breath number 3 is for grounding in the energy of the moment. And we're going to aim breath number 3 over here at Conscious Life Expo. This will be for us and the people that are here. So here we go. Number 3 is going to be a really, really good one. Everybody close your eyes. If you're not driving, close your eyes for a quick moment. Let all your breath out. Let's breathe in together. 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. Hold it at the top. And just let it roll all the way down. Good job. There we go. It's just kind of like a minor. It's kind of a minor grounding process that we do. If you want to add something else onto it, I'm going to put this in the chat. Some of our people are going to get annoyed. They're going to be like, "Here he goes with these capsule phrases again." But this is what we're going to be talking about in our talk this very weekend. We're going to be giving them out to everyone. And for those of you that are willing to use Ma, Ru, Va as a physical vibration, when you're grounding your energy body, when you're opening up the Earth Star chakra, when you're working with your root chakra. And I know I'm already dragging out the readings, you guys. You know I'll do this, but I'm just going to demonstrate it. Hopefully it'll be picked up by the microphone here. But let's breathe in. Ma, Ru, Va. Just let it kind of roll through you. Good job. We've spent enough time dwelling on strange capsule phrases. Okay, here we go. Let's just pull a card for the collective. The reason why we are doing a little bit more tarot lately is because a lot of you guys know multidimensional tarot year 4 begins on March 5th. Multidimensional tarot year 4 begins on March 5th. I'm blessed. I'm honored to say we have a number of people already signed up for it. So thank you to those of you out there who somehow knew that it got posted. It's going to be a fun journey. When we come back from this conference, we're going to be switching into hardcore tarot mode. But in the meantime, let's pull a card for the collective. Here we go. For those of us gathered together here today on, what is it, February 10th? February 10th, 2023. Here we go. What do we need to know? 3, 2, 1. Boom. Okay. Some of you guys know what this is. Some of you guys don't know what this is. It's totally cool if you don't. There are going to be a number of people out there who see this and don't know anything about tarot. And when you look at it long enough, you guys, this is the Ace of Wands, just so you know. Some of you guys are very familiar with Ace of Wands, which is actually a really good thing to pull. Let's say if we're in a collective scenario, let's say if we were in a scenario in which people were looking to do really big work, in which they were willing to or looking to really enhance the quality of the element of fire, desire, we could even say passion and sexuality. But anyway, you guys, we receive for the collective the Ace of Wands. And so a lot of people see this. Like I just said, this is straight out of the tarot class. It is a rather phallic image, and I think it is by design because it is kind of the pinnacle of what we might call a masculinated form of fire. It's highly, highly creative, highly passionate, and for a lot of people, when you have an ace, so let's say you're doing a 1-card reading and the aces roll in, for nearly everyone, this is a timeline shift opportunity. We could say that in February of 2023, and I'm going to make an odd statement. I do believe March of 2023, it looks like it's being set up by our collective consciousness or the co-agreed upon kind of manifestational stuff that's going on the earth plane right now. It does look like March 2023, next month, is being set up to have a couple notable, what we might call just worldwide type of experiences, or we could call like collective elements, things that are going to herald elements of I guess we could say change, or sometimes big speed bumps. Like for a lot of you guys remember March of 2020. Remember what occurred in March of 2020? 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Was that, wait, I think that was March, right? I think it was March. Anyway, I believe that March of 2023 is going to bring us just some interesting collective changes in a similar way. So anyway, real quickly, let me go back to this. Somebody got it. I saw the emoji go by. Boom, she got it. What's up? You know, because it is kind of this energy. And outside of the divination and the multidimensional meanings of it, if there was ever a card, where'd it go? If there was ever a card that classified this energy, and a lot of you guys know what it is, it's very phallic. This is it, literally. It is it's a highly powerful energy. Anyway, let me get back to the content of what I was going to say. I heard an interesting conversation to my side and almost got, one of those moments. But when this shows up, you have a timeline shift opportunity if you're willing to play your game very, very differently. if let's say if I was giving this reading, if I was giving the Ace of Wands, let's say to myself, that's a really fun one because I don't always do it as if I was reading it for myself. But let's say if I was doing a reading for me and it was, let's say it's at Conscious Life Expo and I pulled the Ace of Wands, what I would tell myself is that it's time for you to play the game that you've been playing very, very differently. It's time for you to start to do and say, and we could even say behave or act in a way that is very, very different than the predetermined course of events that you've been on for the past few months and sometimes in your whole life. We can say this about any of the aces. When they do come into your life, they're giving you authorization to dramatically change the game. And so I don't know why. For some reason, I'm discerning that as a message for me. But anyway, let's look at some of the comments. It could very well be for a lot of you guys as well. What's up, Nora? Good to see you again. For those of you, some of you guys already knew this. We did a really cool interview with Nora that debuted. I believe it was last week. Please do check it out and book a session with her. I feel suddenly reawakening from a cold, dark winter. I have much more energy. No, that to me that is a really good sign. Thank you, Nora. Really, really good sign. Joanna says big energy. Thank you. Aurora says that was really good. Thank you. You know what? I certainly hope so because a lot of you guys, like the real empaths on the live stream, you're going to pick up like all of the crazy swirling kind of like currents of energy. I think for those, that are on the path to kind of unlocking or want to go on a crash course to really, really activating a lot of the kind of multi-dimensional abilities or what's the word I'm looking for? Empathic abilities. Come to an event like this. Whether it's Conscious Life Expo or the next one, which you can go to, which is going to be the Journey to Truth Conference. I believe that's in right around the 20th of May. That's going to be our next public appearance. We're not appearing there, but we are setting up a table and doing vending at the Journey to Truth Conference. But for those of you guys that want to go through a very rapid crash course to activating your empathic abilities, come to an event like this and just walk through and notice the feelings that you get. Notice the emotions that arise within your body when you come to these public events. Notice, and this is always a really, really big thing for me whenever I go to these events. I have noticed that there's a really wild third eye activation effect that happens. And it happened last time I was at Conscious Life Expo. It happened pretty much at every event that we will go to. I think a big part of it has to do with the sort of waves of energy that will sort of rise up and become more palatable when you're in a public event space where there's a lot of people that are within a similar vibration or focusing on the same things. What I've noticed is that third eye energy, at least for myself, I think Nora and probably a ton of other people, kicks up in a crazy way. And so what do I mean by third eye energy? Because I think that is one of the energy centers that a lot of us tend to get very, well, maybe not very, but I would say most of us tend to get a little bit confused about how the third eye actually works. And I don't say that from the perspective that I have it figured out, because I certainly do not. But what we do have, everyone's got a couple little, keys and pieces. And what I've noticed is when I come to these events, there's this sort of effect that happens for me where as I'm talking to people or kind of as I'm walking around and for some reason, a lot of times it's as I'm going through a doorway. I guess if you want to get technical, that's a portal. But there's this effect that will happen where it was like as I would close my eyes, you will see an image of a being. You will see, in certain cases, other objects. You will see. I will just tell you what I have seen so far, which is remarkable. And I have to say, every time I come to one of these, there's part of me, wonders like, what kind of energy are we going to encounter there? But just like the last time I was here at 2020. As soon as I arrived at the hotel, there was very much that effect where it's like as I would blink or I would close my eyes or go through a doorway or even just kind of walk around, these images will kind of roll through your mind's eye. And for me, it's almost every time I will kind of blink my eyes or notice that internal space. And what I encountered several times since I have been here, very, very remarkable presence. It's going to sound so cheesy to some of you guys that are watching this. You're going to totally cringe. But what appeared to be a feminine being, and she's shown herself to me several times since I've been here. That's why it feels like it's okay to talk about. But here's the cheesy comparison part. For those of you guys that saw the Star Wars, not the original three movies, the one that came afterward, I think it was with like Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones or whatever that was, the sort of, the shittier version of the like the newer shittier Star Wars. For those of you guys that remember Princess Amidala, who honestly was one of the most horribly acted characters in that new series. I mean, sorry to pull that, in here, but that was one of the best and admittedly lackluster visual depictions that I can give you of this being. But what I had perceived several times, and also this morning, and I'm going to kind of send it out telepathically, so some of you guys that follow this, you can kind of watch my left eye. What I perceived on the left side of my field of vision was a woman, and it was in a portrait kind of view, so I could see her head and shoulders, or what I would call a feminine being. The skin was very, very detailed, and there were very, very detailed, almost kind of tribal, deeply set lines within this person's face. And I don't mean like in terms of like tribal decoration, but there's a very distinct pattern of lines that existed upon this woman's face, the type of face that would make you think that this person may be very, very old or ancient, yet at the same time has a very, very young energy. And so I could perceive this sort of woman in kind of portrait view to my left, and I was able to kind of look at her face and her eyes, and there's this kind of like almost like a silverish liquid that seemed like it was rolling around in almost underneath the eye, like right down underneath like the iris. There's almost like this kind of like this band of kind of silver energy. But the really, really crazy thing about it, which is where I would kind of draw the visual comparison from, the Amidala character from Star Wars, was that she was wearing this sort of headdress, and it was very, very difficult to kind of compare it to maybe an earth-based culture other than maybe Native American, how some of those chiefs, they would wear those big kind of headdress things. But she had a very ornate and very, very large kind of circular arc bit type of a headdress over this feminine being's head. And it was so shockingly detailed. It's like I could see like kind of rods of metal that were sticking out, and I almost felt like bones within kind of like positioned in an ornamental fashion within this sort of being's, I guess I want to say hair, but it could have been like a headdress, you know what I mean? Like a headdress that someone would, excuse me. So why am I talking about it? What is the reason for mentioning that? Well, I think part of it goes along with a lot of stuff that we talk about on this channel, which has to do with as we're learning to identify certain beings, or as we're learning what, energies look like, we're coming to the stage in which we're like, is this something that I've created within my own kind of internalized realm, or is this something that I am perceiving in the outer space as well? And or we could say within the outer kind of astral space in which we're all kind of sharing, space in our own way. And one of the ways that I have learned to discern that is that when you are encountering a presence or a being, or a form of consciousness, we could call it an entity if you choose. In many cases, when it's there, I've noticed that I will pull my gaze or my eyes away from it. It's almost like I will acknowledge it for a moment and then kind of turn away. And what I will notice is if it is something real, if there is a message, if there is a notable element of energy along with it, I'll return back to that position. And time again, when I turn back to that position, I have noticed this being looking at me once again. Honestly, I'll say four. Yeah, I'll go with 4 times since we've been here that I have perceived it. And here's the funniest part, because I have a weird feeling some of you guys are going to see it in your own way, and I see your comments. I will get to those shortly, but the reason why I am mentioning this is not only because I think it gives us a couple examples of something that we can grab onto in terms of telepathic image sending, but also I think it is a real being that exists within the astral space. And here's I know I'm getting random and weird here, but she was not happy with me. It was this, I could see and feel the energy from this being, and her energy was disappointed, which I know sounds kind of odd, right? It's like, really? It's like I could see her and feel a form of disappointment within this being's body, yet at the same time, I could feel hope. If I want to get technical, it felt as though she was trying to send me a message, or that she was one of the beings within this kind of non-physical astral space that's inhabiting this current physical space. And maybe they're reaching out. Maybe there's some form of a exchange of energy that was being sent based upon the way I encountered it. It felt like whatever, and I know this is dumb for some of you guys, but it felt like I was kind of missing out on it. It was almost like she was trying to get through to me, and I was able to perceive it in my own way. But yeah, anyway, it's kind of an anticlimactic. Like, and then I saw this crazy being, and I was unable to accurately interface with it, or maybe I was. But you're gonna encounter a lot of stuff like this at these events. And anyway, getting back to the idea of it being a third eye activation, that's one of the ways in which you guys are going to be noticing energy within your third eye. And I think in 2023 we're going to have a lot more what we could call waves of energy that are going to have an activational. Is that a word? It's going to have an activational effect. We have decided it is a word. It's going to have an activational effect on third eye operability. And I think one of the things that we can do, for those of you guys that are watching this channel that are familiar with how the third eye works, or for those of you that are drawn to this channel to figure out things about energy and how our energy centers work, this is a really good example of the way the third eye interacts for people. It is not necessarily a visual apparatus through which we will be perceiving that energy out in the world, meaning that even with a very, very open third eye, it's entirely possible that I would look across the walkway right there and you're just going to see the normal world. The third eye is most operable in your internal mind's eye, within that internal space. And a lot of people connect with it instantly. As soon as you close your eyes, as soon as you go into what we would call that imagination zone, you're connecting with the realm of your third eye. And so as we go on in the coming months, waves of solar energy or whatever it is that takes place that has an activating effect on us, notice what takes place. Notice the subtle changes in imagery when you guys blink your eyes, when you go into a meditation, when you're first waking up in the morning and you're kind of in that state, right as you're coming out of that sleep state, as you're waking up in the morning, notice what rolls through the mind's eye. And especially if you're anything like me, and I know some of you guys have your own messaging systems, but if you're anything like me, at least for me, right as I go through that kind of wake up moment in the morning, there's a very elaborate conversation that is happening nearly every time. The trick is, for me, remembering it is always the hard part. But anyway, we're gonna pull a card for a couple of you guys here. We're gonna try to get a little bit warmed up. Y'all are gonna help us manifest some people and some Life Expo. So if you want to help us manifest really cool stuff at Conscious Life Expo, put a bunch of alien emojis in the chat right now. If you're actually watching this live stream, put a ton of alien emojis in the chat. That's going to be adding on to the positive energy balance. Anyway. Thanks, Nora. I don't know. Sometimes I will go on an annoyingly long rant about some of the energies that we encounter out here. Sometimes they don't make sense. Sometimes I will listen to myself articulating such things, and I'm like, I don't know. Does it even make sense the way you're saying it? But anyway, let me know if you guys have any questions. By the way, thanks for your comments, White Swan. Flare's been popping off a few days ago. Now a portion of the sun has separated at the north pole of the sun. Yeah, interesting. We should check that out. Thanks, everybody. Geraldine, I think there are solar flares. I certainly hope there are. That would make a lot of sense. What's up, First Lady Erica? How's it going? Hopeful Art says definitely morning and night. No, there have been. When I was last year in 2020, I remember getting, and oh man, here we go. Here comes this is also kind of an anticlimactic, weird, bizarre experience story. When I was here in 2020, it was a matter early 25. This is not an exaggeration. I think we did almost 25 readings in a row. I think it was on the Sunday last time I was here in 2020. And by the end of it, I was in this state of kind of crazy, fast forward, manic, just really worn out energy. And I went over to get some body work done from just, there's a bunch of random body workers here. And, I definitely did not. I hate to say it like this. I definitely did not choose the right person, because as soon as this person started giving me a massage, I I instantly felt sick. But it was one of those moments, and granted, now it's really easy to talk about it now and go, wow, that should be your number one sign to get out. But I didn't. I stayed at the massage. Literally, this woman's energy was making me feel sick. But aside from that, in that moment, as this person was working on me, it was as if they sort of like popped some bubble of energy within my body. And it was actually the first time I had encountered such a being or seen such an image, which I think is also one of the signs you're going to get when you're experiencing something that is present within the astral space. There's going to be beings and presences and things that you're going to run into that do not have, there's no language with which to explain who and what these things are. And during that really chaotic, ultra negative massage, it was like some movement that this woman did, and she kind of popped this bubble in my shoulder, and it was like I could see the body of a stone being. And by stone, I mean it was like made out of rock, but it was as if the rock was flesh and its body was flesh, but the flesh was made of stone. Which honestly, it's one of those images that still sticks within my head, because there's really no visual depiction to try to tell people, hey, I encountered this stone looking being that was shaped like, there's literally no words for it, humanoid shape, but in this very strange segmented rock like body. That is something that I don't think that there's not a comparison for it here. It's a crazy thing. It's a example of what rolls through the third eye. Thanks, Rocks Rachel. I certainly appreciate it. Certainly appreciate the super chats. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Rocks Rachel. Debbie says, yes, the remembering is the thing. Thanks, you guys. There we go. LSD, what's happened? And thank you for that. Thanks for your help with manifestational energy. I certainly appreciate it. Thanks, you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, everybody. I sincerely appreciate it. Boom. There we go. If you're wondering, why is he showing all these messages with alien emojis? Sometimes we will use like repeating emojis to summon and gather energy. I guarantee you there's a few people that are watching this stream right now that have never seen it before, and they're like, oh my God, really? What? This dude's telling people to spam his chat with alien emojis. No, honestly, we have done this before, and in many cases, it has a really cool effect. Anyway, thanks, you guys. I love you. We're gonna do a couple more readings, and then we're gonna officially roll out of here. But thanks, Aurora. Yeah, I know. I guess we get pretty weird. So I'm officially looking forward to seeing what other beings we encounter within that internalized astral space as we go through this weekend. Let me pull a card for somebody here. Hurry up and put your name in the chat. We'll pull a card for you. Rox Rachel, you were right there. Boom. Okay, here we go for Rox Rachel and anyone else that needs to receive this. I like to be specific when we say anyone else that needs to, really reach out to everyone else, because the nature of multidimensional tarot is that it's addressing many different outcomes and many different timelines all at the same time. For Rox Rachel, here we go. Boom. Whoa, Rox Rachel, you got the Lovers. The Lovers doesn't show up that often in a lot of these readings. Lovers, well, there's times when I've noticed the Lover shows up in series. It'll come around. Certain cards come around again and again and again. What does this mean, Rox Rachel, when you get the Lovers? First off, it kind of depends on where you are within this, okay, Rox Rachel? And so you're going to have your own relationship with what this means to you. Some of us are seeking this. Some of us have this. Some of us do not know what this is. Some of us see it and we're like, yeah, I definitely have no interest in that. Others avoid it. And so first off, your meaning behind this, Rox Rachel, is the most important one. But what does it mean in generality when it shows up? It's asking you to come to a new stage of self-acceptance, to kind of work on, to harmonize, to heal the aspects of the divine feminine and the divine masculine within you, to kind of work with what is and to come to an entirely new stage of just acceptance of yourself, acceptance of where you are in your life. And for those of us that are seeking love, for those of us that are seeking relationships, for those of us that, maybe you are on a twin flame timeline. Some of you guys have heard me talk about how I think, the twin flame kind of concept is a little bit of, I wouldn't call it a psyop, but it is a thing that we put a disproportionate amount of energy into. But for some people, it's a very realistic thing. And so I would say look at. Oh, there you are. I see your comment. So let's kind of narrow it down a little bit more for Rox, Rachel. I would say look at where you are within yourself as a feminine being. Look at your relationships with masculinity. Look at your relationships with femininity. Look at how you feel when you look at yourself in the mirror and the quality of intimacy within your life. How are you connecting with masculinity? How are you connecting with femininity? When we get lovers as a one card reading, it can give us usually an applicable chunk of information, but that's kind of where we would dive into, other areas and other avenues in your life, because it's more about what's happening with you. So anyway, I almost kind of lost the stream of, of that card there, Rox. But I would say look at the quality of the experience of the lovers in your life and see where you are with it. Chances are there's an activation or a healing or some element of energy or maybe even a change that you can make. And it's not always about making a change. Sometimes it's about recognizing what is. And so anyway, I hope that helps. Thank you, Selena. We're gonna pull a card for you. White Swan says inner union. Actually, you know what? I probably just should have said inner union, because you have a really good ability to kind of sum those things up. But anyway, thank you, Selena. We're gonna pull a card for you real quick. So for Selena Ingles and anybody else out there that needs to receive this, we're gonna pull a card for you real quick. Boom. Oh, Selena, interesting. You have a Seven of Wands. Here's the thing. Some people see Seven of Wands and they might get a little weird about it. They might get a little concerned. It might get awkward because you'll see this guy and he looks like he wants to fight. And you'll even in your own mind, you'll be like, what's up with this dude? It is kind of a defensive energy. And when you do have a Seven of Wands, there's a huge advantage that you have available to you right now that you might not be aware of. And to be very specific, so I don't go on a super long rant with it, Selena, look at the areas of your life in which you feel conflicted right now, or if you feel that you're in a battle with someone. And if you don't, and it doesn't mean you have to be in a battle, but for most of us, there's going to be certain areas or elements of your life that feel like they're being aimed at you in an awkward or threatening way. The Seven of Wands asks you to, number one, change your perspective, and also notice, oops, here we go, you are on higher ground. There's something about you that is untouchable right now. And to be honest with you, you have a huge advantage in an area which you feel the most conflicted. So hopefully that summed it up a little bit better. I hope it did. Maybe. Anyway, thanks you guys. What's up, Geraldine? It's 10 o'clock. 10 p.m. in the UK. Thanks for hanging out. What's up, Lori Shoe Guy? Matt, do you have anyone who you always wanted to meet who is there? It's a very good question. Is there anyone that I've always wanted to meet that is here? You know what's crazy, Lori? Man, off the top of my head in this now moment, actually no. Yeah, it's like, whoa, I'm trying to think about. No. I think for us it's more about just kind of being here and kind of doing the thing that we do. I know that in a lot of the other conferences or conventions or whatever you want to call it, there have been people that I've been looking forward to seeing, but I will admit at this current time I have no plans. There's no plans to go see anything else here, although I'm certainly open to it. And as I'm saying that, I realize that there are a couple people that I was looking forward to seeing, but I cannot remember it in the moment. So I'm making it super awkward. The way in which I answer your question is getting really awkward. Thank you, Lori. But oh no, Frank Jacob. There we go. Frank Jacobs, definitely one I would like to see here. I think we have time to see him as well. So somebody said, can a reading for Capricorns be done? We can, Joey Consensus. And you're going to love the way I do this reading because I'm the least astrological professional psychic in the world. But what I will do is pull a card for all of those Capricorns, whether it's sun, moon, or rising, or wherever it rolls in for you. And for those of you guys that have a better knowledge of it, you're going to be able to apply this to your to the Capricorn placements in your life. But yeah, let's pull a card for the Capricorn energy. And I guess it's okay because Nora is a Capricorn moon, so. For those of you assisting the Capricorn energy within our collective, it's actually a really good challenge for me because here we go. 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath in, everybody. Boom. All right, Capricorn friends, what are you leaving behind? What are you moving on from? What are you gathering in your physical world all together? And, I don't know, every now and then you're running away from something. Sometimes you're running towards something. You do have a 10 of Wands, which for those of you guys that know, and don't worry if you never know, or don't worry if you know nothing about tarot, because anyone would see a 10 of Wands and you'd go, somebody's leaving. Where are they going? Even if we knew nothing about it. So it's what we would call the neutral ending in the world of tarot. It's really up to you, like what you choose to make of it. And so I would say within your own current world, ask yourself, what am I running away from? What am I running toward? What am I carrying with me from a previous stage of my life that I'm taking down the road? What am I going to use? In what ways will that come into play? And yeah, I think I already said it, but what's ending? Because sometimes it's just the end of the week, which I guess it is. It's Friday, so thanks. Thanks. I hope that helps. We're gonna do 2 more. I don't know. For some reason, I feel 2 more readings. And Marie Morales here says, go see Elizabeth April. No, no, sorry. I'm sure she's awesome, though. But we will pass on her version of the Galactic Federation. Yeah, we'll pass on her version of the Galactic Federation. But anyway, we're gonna do 2 more readings. Who shall it be? What's up, Dan Seda? How's it going? You're probably the only person watching in Facebook land, Dan. Thank you for rolling through. Oh no, we got another one. Michelle Hart's. Thank you, Michelle Hart's Ayala. You picked up that telepathic moment. You just picked up the. I already forgot her name. You just picked up my Elizabeth April transmission there. It's okay. It's a beautiful thing. Anyway, Mountful or M. I don't know. See, I want to call you Mountful now that I see the MT. Anyway, you're like, no. But I don't know. Maybe I should. You know who I would go see if they were here is Matt Kahn. I have not seen Matt Kahn in a long time, and he's a very very genuine guy. Anyway, let's go ahead and pull a card. Boom. We're gonna. You know what? Boom. He's probably not even watching anymore, but we're gonna pull a card for Daniel Sater. What's up, Dan? We're gonna pull a card for Mr. Dan. You're probably one of the only people in the Facebook realm right now. Thank you. Thank you for being one of probably 2 or 3 people that have authorization from the AI Archons to watch our Facebook live stream. Here we go. For Mr. Dan Sater. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Whoa. Okay. All right. Okay. Dan, you got an Ace of Swords. I'm gonna be real with you. I have a lot of favorite cards, but when it comes to the aces, this is sort of my favorite ace. Okay, why though? Why would the Ace of Swords be a really big deal? You probably weren't here earlier, and you probably have not heard me say this 100 times, but for those that have, here we go again. You guys, when the aces roll into your reading, we could say, even if it's just a 1-card reading, which at many different intervals is going to be just one piece of energy on a very, very large timeline. But when we have the aces, you are in a timeline shift opportunity when it comes to your cycles, the cycles in your life. And so this is what the aces are about. They're about cycles and kind of processes coming to completion and starting again. So what do you do when you have an Ace of Swords? You look at the cycles in your life around communication. How are you received by the world? How are you receiving the world? How is the world hearing your voice? How are you speaking? Swords, for those of you guys that don't know, and a lot of you guys do, but just in case you don't, what are swords in tarot? Swords are words, they're the look on your face, they're your body language, they're the tone of the message that you send. They are also, in many different ways, the manner in which you dress, the sort of energy that follows you or comes with you when you enter a room, when you see a person, or let's say when you greet a person. And I haven't done this in a while, it's this cheesy demonstration, but I will give you an example of swords. Okay, and so this is a sword moment. Let's say you meet someone and they're just like, and you just, that moment where you're just like, you just get blown off by someone, right? You're just like, whatever, hey. So, and then, okay, there's the other version where it's like, hey, how's it going? There's this totally different, feeling. There's a different flavor. There's a different tone. There's a different vibe. I know that's a really dumb way to do that demonstration, everyone. Sorry. But those are your swords. They're the expression that you have on your face, or the way that you present yourself in that transactional moment. And so for people that have the Ace of Swords in your life, and it could be in a big way, it could be in a small way, but it's an opportunity to dramatically change the way the world is receiving what you are communicating. And so what you do is you look at your cycles, look at the places in your life where you're like, man, every few years I go through this thing, or every so often have this type of an event, or this type of an upheaval, or this type of a development. And so the aces tell you that those moments are coming around, and they give you an opportunity to dramatically change the game by really, really shifting the way you swing your sword. In this case, it'll be the tone of voice, the manner in which you communicate yourself, the look on your face, all of those elements of, presentation in the world. And so anyway, I think I'm grossly over-interpreting your card. Selena says, can anyone tell me the name of the card? Thanks for hanging out, by the way, Dan. Selena, which card did you get? Describe it to me. I've already forgotten it as it went by. I'm trying to remember. Oh, you had a 7 of Wands. You had 7 of Wands, Selena. And the fun thing is, you can go look that up, and you're going to get a whole bunch of other meanings for 7 of Wands as well. That is the nature of multidimensional tarot. And so, totally. She said, when does the tarot class starts on March 5th? Thank you. Last Swan got it. Boom. Thank you. Oh, it's a play on word. Okay. I feel you. Thanks, you guys. We're going to do one more reading for those that are here. We're going to do one more. Oh, yeah, there you go. Girl and her gong got it. How's it going? Yeah, Natalie Portman. Going back to that whole idea of that strange Star Wars looking being that kind of rolled into the third eye. It also feels rather, I guess I'll say, lackluster to kind of describe this being through the lens of a Star Wars character. It's like a part of me feels like, because it's like such a disservice. But anyway, yeah, all sorts of wild third eye projections. Another thing you'll notice that I think is going to be happening as we continue on in this 2023 timeline, you guys are going to notice another thing, and you guys can practice this with me even if you want, if you're kind of focusing on the screen, but you can do this with anyone, whether you're watching. Actually, a really cool place to watch, or a cool place to try it, is with mainstream news, mainstream media. Like go on YouTube, or if you have TV, you could go on CNN or Fox or whatever. If you can stomach it, here is what you will do. So you guys can do it with me in the frame of the screen right now. But one of the ways that you can also tell energies that are with a person at times, every once in a while, energies that are attached to a person, what we might call soul overlays, or at times even holographic kind of overlays, or I guess if you want to get technical, even what we might call non-physical devices that will exist within a person's energy field. There is what I call a very, very simple technique that you can use to help yourself begin to spot it. But when I say spot it, it's not necessarily that you are spotting it in a visual sense, which is once again one of the reasons why third eye can be a confusing place for people to operate, because it's not always a visual representation, but you will get other elements of it. So what you're going to do is kind of focus. You guys can do it with me here. And what you'll do is you'll take your eyes, and first you'll look at the person, and then you'll pull them, just your eyes, pull your gaze a little bit over to the right, and kind of let your eyes kind of fuzz out, defocus your eyes. And so I'm going to do it on myself in this now moment. And so what you're going to do is be looking just to the right or the left of a person's image. And you're going to kind of defocus your eyes a little bit, defocus your eyes, and just kind of remain in that space as long as you can. What you're doing is you're focusing on the space right to the right or the left of that person's face. For some of you guys, it's going to take a long time and you're going to have to practice it for a while. And in a situation like this, when I'm in a public place and there's all kinds of wild energies around, it's not always the easiest thing to do, especially over, you know, like a live stream like this. But you guys can do it a lot easier, maybe at home or with your loved ones, and focus in on that space, you know, to the right or the left. Let your eyes defocus. And in some cases, you will quite literally see a different face. But here's one of the things you can look out for. Sometimes there will be a different kind of a projection that will fall over a person's face. And in many cases, it's a fraction of a second. Like, it's not something that stays. It's not this permanent image or something that is kind of shown over them. It's something that in many cases will be there for just this kind of fraction. It's almost like this flash of light will occur. And in many cases, you'll see an image, but you might not see an image. You might also get a feeling. You might, you know, perceive it through one of the other senses. But notice what happens. I think one of the things that we are able to do that we're not taught to do is just use different means of either focusing or defocusing or kind of placing our energy in different areas around the energy body that can allow us to either, I guess we could say analyze, we could say scan, just people in very, very different ways. And so some of you guys are going to get, you know, who knows, maybe you'll perceive some really wild beings next to me. Maybe you will. Sherry says the lady was disappointed because she didn't feel like you noticed her. Feeling of hope came in when she realized you did. You know what, Sherry? Seriously, you might be right. And, you know, like I said earlier, for those of you guys that are tuning in now, maybe you didn't hear this part earlier, and you're like, what is this comment about? I was talking about how I perceived multiple times a very, very clear and distinct image of a being that I believe is inhabiting the astral space at this conference here. Just very, like, so specific. Anyway, you know what, Sherry, I'm willing to believe that, because you know, when I feel into the energy of that encounter, the emotional quality of it did feel it felt like this being felt a disappointed energy. You know that feeling when you're trying to get someone's attention and they're like not hearing you, and you're like, you know, that like kind of maybe a little bit dejected, which I think I'm adding too much humanness onto my description of their energy. But anyway, that kind of makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. What's up, Crystal Golden? Good to see you. We're going to be hanging out for just a couple more minutes, and then we're going to officially roll out of here. I think we are going to do one final card pull. We're going to do one final card for somebody out there. Selena says, in a meditation I did this morning, and I'm fairly new to meditation, I see a portal on a beach with an eye, a blue eye. Wow. I think that is an aspect of your energy, maybe an opening or something that was shown to you, possibly through the third eye, possibly through your crown. I mean, I guess we want to get technical. It doesn't matter the ways in which it reaches you, but I think that if you encounter or perceive something like that within the meditative space, number one, it is by no mistake. And so I would say try to return to it. Notice if there are any thought forms. Notice if there's any emotions. Notice if there's any additional images or messages or conversational energies that you receive when you connect with it. I've also done meditations and been in what I call an astral space, and I have encountered beings that are literally an eye. Like the literal being was like the gigantic eye. If you want to get technical, here we go with more really, really weird experiential stuff. And if you want to get technical, I was at a retreat in 2019 in Mount Shasta in which I encountered that very large eye, and it actually went into the body. It went right into my left eye, actually, which was, I believe, the origin of the left eye portal for me. So anyway, not that it necessarily is related to what you're talking about here, Selena, but I think that if you perceive a portal like that within the astral space, I think it's a sign. It means something. I would say investigate or explore further. Yeah, I hope that helps. MT full? Totally. Yeah. It smiles right here. He's hanging out next to us. I don't think we are not currently on the cool disclosure person list. So my feeling is it's one of those things where people don't see you. I've already had that moment here with a couple like cool disclosure influencer people. Where it's like you'll be face to face with them, and then it's like they just look like right through you. For those people that go to conferences or disclosure or spiritual conventions, that's how you'll know when you do not have any social media value to that person, because it's like as if you do not exist. And so, yeah, we don't exist. Maybe we might not be on we might not be on the same timeline, which honestly might be a really good thing. I really don't know. That's going to be part of my post conference live stream. So anyway, thanks you guys. Some of the body language analysts out there, the CIA body language analyst that watches my videos. First off, I pray that you get in touch with me because I think we could do a lot of good work together. But for the ones that don't, that just watch, you notice those little tells that I do. Anyway. Lord Diamond Heart says, I too have seen a giant eye during my first meditation. During my first meditation, it said hello, and I got right. Totally. One of these days, I will tell the rest of that story. It's probably not. It's going to be too weird and long-winded, and it's too chaotic for here. But, oh Lord. Well, a lot of you guys know many of the pieces of it, but. That's always a fun one to talk about. You encountered a being in the astral space that inserted itself into your left eye, and after that moment, so many things in your life changed. You know what I mean? That's always a fun story to tell the Muggles, if you want to call it that. It's true though. It's literally true. Literally true. Okay, we're gonna do our final reading. Here we go. Boom. Are we getting blocked? Maybe we are blocked on these sky events of the day. Is it one of the multiple spy balloons that are now circling the globe? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Oh, cool. We got another Facebook person. What's up, Sienna Sparrow? I had lots of conversational experiences with light beings this week. I've never had such pure energy communicate with me before. I am very, it's comforting. It's comforting to hear that because it explains a lot of what. As soon as I walked in here, just so many beings, energies. Oh Lord, here we go. A little bit of fragment of something else I perceived right at the entrance of the Hilton, right as I was coming in. This one was on the right, which is a rare thing for me within that internal space. A lot of things show up on the left. This one was on the right. It was very much, get ready for a dumb descriptor, very much like a wizard-looking being. And I say wizard-looking being from meaning that he was wearing robes. He was a very, very, very male being with like just massive, long hair, like braided. I could not see this being's face, and it was one of those things that you just perceive it in a quick fraction of a second. But the feeling was good. I mean, it's like a lot of times when you will encounter a being or an energy like that, the signature will come through immediately. And it's not that we'll always get the right one because it's really easy to get thrown off. But if you allow yourself to kind of observe it for a second and just stay with it, in my opinion, and sometimes I'm wrong, so I'm wrong constantly, but you will get. It's almost like you will get this sort of dose or feeling of kind of
we'll be here for 3 days.
A little bit of that energy. Anyway, thank you. Hopefully my audio is okay. I appreciate you guys. Well, a lot of people had eye stuff. What's up, Maggie, name? It's good to see you. My son had an eye. Visit him and watch him at night. I'll show him this. It will help him. That is a real thing.
I know.
That is a real thing. I think the meanings of it could be very, very different. I think sometimes it's the aspect of ourself. Sometimes it could be a guide energy. I think that's also possible based upon the nature, the quality of the experience. But it could also, in certain cases, be a negative occurrence. Anyway, who knows? But it's definitely a real thing. Thanks for sharing that, Maggie, man. Thank you, NC. You pick up from him helps me discern. At least he's not the big no. Well, I can't really say too much, but what I will, literally just because proximity, but I have a very similar feeling, a very similar feeling about the other no person. Anyway, I will try not to keep it so intentionally awkwardly vague. But if you know me, you know that's the realm in which we operate. Thanks, you guys. I appreciate your comments. What's up, Chris P? How's it going? Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks, Heather Chip. I toned last night after I felt the frequency from YouTube. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. When it comes to the process or what we might call the technique of scalar toning, it is truly a thing that anyone can do. Intention is everything. If you want to make it a little stronger, you can certainly use the capsule phrases that we use, and we're gonna be talking about those in our talk tomorrow, actually. Let me know in the chat if you want me to try to live stream our talk tomorrow. I might. I don't know if it'll work. I don't know. A large portion of the hotel seems to be Wi-Fi blocked in a really strange way. Anyway. There you go. We're gonna pull a card. I realized maybe there was other people, but I just saw someone roll through, and you reminded me that we're gonna do one final reading, and so we're gonna aim this at Joanna LeBlanc and anyone else that needs to receive it. Anyone else that needs to receive it. And then I think we're gonna roll out of here. After that, we are gonna roll out of here. But for Joanna LeBlanc and everybody else that has turned out for this random live stream. 3, 2, 1. What is it? What did we get? All right. You got a really good card, Joanna. You got a really, really good card. And anybody else? So yeah, this is the 3 of Pentacles. Some of the real empaths out there can tell how I just got pulled out of this moment for a second, but here we go. All right. 3 of Pentacles. When this shows up in your readings or in your life, I'll try to make it simple. This is an upgrade energy that's approaching you. But I got to be real about the type of upgrade it is, because a lot of people would receive a 3 of Pentacles within their life, and they might not actually notice that they're receiving an upgrade. Because when it shows up in your life, it's going to be a next indicated step in a certain area or a certain aspect of something that you're involved with or something that you've been working on. In fact, if you want to get technical, for a lot of us, it has to do with areas of your life in which you've been putting in work. You've been kind of chipping away. You've been chipping away at something, and you will start to receive results or payback, or it's just opportunities will come into your life. But I got to be real, they're not necessarily huge. And for those out there that are trying to learn tarot, I think the 3 of Pentacles is a card that a lot of people might pull, and they might not necessarily take the time to peer into their own life and see the areas in which they're going to be receiving an upgrade. And so, but what kind of an upgrade? Let me try to go back to that. These are next indicated step upgrades. A lot of you guys have heard me say this. It's like when you've been working out or you've been on a diet. And let's say there's going to be one morning in which you've been working out, and it's like you put on your shirt or your pants. I think for a lot of it's like you'll sort of like put on your pants and you're like, huh. There's that moment where like things fit a little bit better, or maybe it's a little tighter, or maybe it's looser. It's like you're kind of coming into more comfortability in an area that you've been putting in effort, and you're receiving the fruits of your labor. So I would say look at the areas of your life in which you've been putting a lot of work in or chipping away at, and you're not seeing a lot of results. The 3 of Pentacles is going to show up to tell you that you're receiving results in that area, but it's not always the ones that you're looking for. So another way to describe it would be kind of like that moment where you'll see someone and they're like, "Hey, how you doing? You look. What'd you do? Did you changed your hair? You got a haircut, right?" And you're like, "It's just it's just me." That is a 3 of Pentacles. People are going to look at you and they're going to be like, "Huh, you look like you're doing good," but they won't really know why. It's like you won't really know what it is. And yeah, you could very easily overlook it. So I think the 3 of Pentacles will show up to tell people not to overlook the areas of your life in which you've been doing work and receiving payback. So anyway, I hope that helps, Joanna LeBlanc. Thank you, by the way. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out, Nora. I certainly appreciate it. It's probably super, super late where you are, but anyway, thank you. Thanks, Joanna. Appreciate it. For those of you guys that want to join us, we are going to be starting a lot, as everyone on this live stream knows. The fourth year of our multidimensional tarot class starts March 5th, and you guys can sign up right now. I'm going to do a thing I shouldn't do, and I am going to put a code in the chat so that you can, if for those that want to, you can use this code. If it's like my keyboard doesn't even work, it's really, really weird. Now it works. Here we go. You can use this code on our website to get $75 off the cost of the tarot class. And so, first, we'll go to this website right here. Thank you, Ms. White Swan. I appreciate it. You can go to rememberyourmission.com. You can find Multidimensional Tarot 2023. And then when you check out, enter in this code, and you'll get $75 off the cost of the class. And, you can also email me. You can email me through my website, and we will create a payment method or something for you to get in there. Anyway, don't worry. We are very, very accessible. But, cool. Let me know if there's any other questions before we roll out of here. I don't see any other questions in the chat, but I'm gonna scroll through. Let me know if you guys have any questions about Conscious Life Expo. If you think I should live stream our talk tomorrow, I'll say it again because I'm horrible at self-promotion. But if you do find this message, and if you are at the Los Angeles Conscious Life Expo, I'm going to be doing a bit of a talk tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific in Century D. If you're wondering where Century D is at Conscious Life Expo, look for the farthest corner. I'm not kidding. Look for like the last room in the last in like the last hallway. Well, it's actually in the center hallway. In the very, very, very last room. That is where we'll be Saturday at 2 p.m. So please do come find us. It is a free talk. Yeah. Thank you, Japoris. I sincerely appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with us here during all this crazy, wild, manic energy. I sincerely want to say also thank you for helping me ground my energy and my presence here. Celia says, are you going to do the psychic class like you have a video of? That's a good question. We don't necessarily at this time have what I would call a one dedicated kind of psychic development class or a process. We have a number of kind of courses that we've been doing, and then we do a monthly gathering within the Patreon group and also on YouTube now, in which we will kind of talk about certain things. We will do readings, we'll do energy work. We are going to start selling. It will be available for purchase, the chakra class and the meridian class when it is done. We used to actually have our older classes available on a Vimeo channel, which I actually closed after a while. It wasn't really working out. And so we are gonna bring that back. We have to find a different method through which to kind of sell the courses, but we are going to make the chakra and the meridian class available for purchase, as probably the tarot one as well. We just got to figure out the best way to do it. If there's a really cool website person that's watching this live stream that wants to help me put together a website where people can just click it and pay for it and download it on our website, find me. Who knows? Maybe somebody will see this. Find me. We will do a really, really cool exchange, or we will figure out a way to compensate you for it. But yeah, it is certainly coming. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, Heather Chip. I'm gonna juice some celery and hermit. I think that is a very, very good idea. That's a very good idea. Cool. Okay, we are. We're gonna do it. As long as the Wi-Fi upstairs allows us to connect in that room, although I guess it did 2 years ago. 2 years ago, our timeline has returned. The difference is from the 2020 timeline of Conscious Life Expo is when I arrived here in 2020, they did not even have a record of me being here. I was not even on. It was like they're like, huh, who, that guy? Oh, what? Oh, yeah. Well, he is on the website. So I mean, it was literally that conversation. They were like, yeah, sure, he's on there. Look, and so they kind of let me do it anyway. But it was one of those moments, when you come in, and you're like, what? Yeah. It was certainly an awkward moment. And here's the funny thing, MT full. You do not know this. There's no way you could have known this. But the last time we were here, we were literally in front of the bathroom. Literally, we were like right next to the restroom. Like no joke. Like all day, people were coming in, like walking right past me, right? To go into the bathroom. So thank you for noticing that. Thank you for noticing that. It was literally true. Thank you, Maggie May. What's up, Crystal Golden? 5:32 p.m. in Maryland. Beautiful. It's probably frozen in Maryland right now. I have a weird feeling it's rather frozen there. Thanks, Aurora. It's all psychic development. You know what? Here is the thing, because I think it might have been Selena that asked about dedicated psychic development work. It is a desire that I have. I would like to do it. If enough people ask for an event or a workshop like that and tell me what it is that you want to go over, I would love to do it. I have had a long-running plan since 2019, I would say. One of the first classes I actually wanted to do was remote viewing. And it's funny because there's a lot of incredible remote viewers in this world. I think it is one of the number one psychic skills that anyone has the ability to learn. For some reason, I've been hesitant about putting together a process to teach it. And I think for me, a big part of that happens to be because I don't fully understand the methods that I use to do it. And here's the funny thing is that I'm a person that uses this, I guess if you want to call it the skill or the ability of remote viewing in literally every single session that I do. It's like we are viewing and connecting with, whether it's a person, a place, a thing, it's nearly always a person, but we're connecting in astral space or viewing that in a non-physical manner. And so I think I just need to go through more of a process of documentation. So who knows? Thank you for asking me. Dennis says astral blue outhouse. Maybe, I don't know. It was down in the basement technically. So no, for real. I think it was practically basement. But anyway, let me know if you guys have any other questions before we roll out of here. Was it? I think it was. I think the first time you came through was the timeline creation and activation event, which, I think that was either 2019 or maybe that was 2020, or I'm not sure. That was a really fun mix of chakras and meridians and kind of a lot of other stuff. And who knows? That feels like that feels like an ancient timeline now. Maybe that means we need to bring it back. Thank you for joining, Joanna LeBlanc. I appreciate you. Crystal Golden as well. Thanks for hanging out with us. Only a sprinkling of snow. If there's one thing I've learned over the past couple of years, it's like I have discovered I am not a cold weather person. I would like to be. I have a weird feeling we might end up moving to a cold weather state in the coming years. But thank you, Joanna. I appreciate it. I don't see any other questions in the chat, and I think what we're probably going to do is roll out of here and try to be more public at this conference. We're getting a lot of fun, really wild looks from people that are watching this. So we're going to go connect with these people, and I will probably come back. If you are watching this video later, please leave a comment on here if you want us to do more live streams from here. I'm shocked that the Wi-Fi works, so that's a really good. That's a really good thing. What's up, Galactic Fire Teachers? Four of Wands. Four of Wands is definitely around. What happens when we pull a Four of Wands? We're building reliability. We're building structure. We're repeating certain processes. Sometimes we're going through a little bit of a romance with the world as well. It's kind of like coming back together. And we could say honing our abilities. We could say practicing certain things. We could say also courtship and sort of courting new connections or relationships. There's a lot of kind of variance that the Four of Wands has. One thing we do know about Four of Wands is that it doesn't necessarily work the same in the outer world as it does in our inner world. It tends to play out a little bit differently. That's why we kind of do what we do with Four of Wands internally first, but then we bring it out to the world. And so it is an energy that thrives upon practice, repetition, and sort of returning to a process over and over again, which I guess is repetition. But anyway, thanks. I certainly hope that makes sense. And I appreciate you, Crystal Golden. Thank you for finding us. Yeah, dude, left eye portal is a thing. And maybe you've already heard this, but some people have it on the right. And I think for a lot of us that go through these paths of activation during the human journey, a lot of us, and I know for some people it's a cringe thing when I say this, but a lot of us have signed up and made agreements to receive or experience very particular types of activation during the journey. And one of those, it's very noticeable when people have it because it'll happen within the eyes, and it's a thing that you'll perceive. Sometimes you'll see it in other people. Like a lot of you guys will notice, I've got comments on it, over the years. Like my left eye will at times be more lively, or it will move around, or sort of, sometimes it's a little bit weird, but there's legitimate portals that open up within the energy body. So the eyes are portals. We have one in the back of our head. Technically, the throat is a portal, although it doesn't work the same as a lot of the way we've been taught, like physical, traveling portals work. It's a portal for energy. We have one at the solar plexus. We have them at the bottoms of the feet, behind your knees. The list goes on. Anyway, I'm grossly over answering my questions here today, as usual. And thanks for hanging out, you guys. Okay, I think we are there. Anyway, please share this video. Leave a comment if you want us to come back. And yeah, we will catch you guys again in the coming hours live from Conscious Life Expo. If you can hit the like button on the way out, you'll be doing me a great service. And please subscribe if you haven't done so already. I have a feeling we'll be back pretty soon, you guys. But in the meantime, I love you. Stay out of trouble. And yeah, live from Conscious Life Expo 2023 to remember your mission. And we're keeping it real. See you later.